Hello, Just Gem here and welcome, or indeed welcome back to my channel. I took a bit of an unplanned hiatus, not a long one, but I think I just got a bit ambitious about how much content I could pre-film, considering how busy work and life seems to be. So I took a little bit of a break, and I'm trying to figure out what my filming schedule is going to be like in December, but ad hoc is probably the most accurate way to describe what my filming and upload schedule is going to be for this month. But it's December, so I think that comes with the territory. So disclaimer, I should say, I'm in a weird mood today. One of those moods where I'm feeling a bit meh, and I don't know if putting makeup on my face is going to cheer me up exponentially, or I'm going to struggle with creativity, get frustrated, and end up in a weirder mood than I'm already in. I procrastinated and it got to a point where I was like, actually, I do want to film. I want to see where this goes. So here we are. And today, the feature is going to be, and I'm quite excited about this, I'm not going to lie, is the very latest palette from Cosmic Brushes / Cosmic Beauty. And that's the outer packaging. So it's part of a collection called 'Tis the Season, and I wasn't overly fussed about the entire collection, but I was fussed about this palette. And it is the embodiment of a quality street box in an eyeshadow palette, and I think you can see what I mean by that when I sort of show you the shades in there. It almost follows a bit of a Blend Bunny-esque format, but in rows, which I guess the Robert one did go by rows rather than columns, but they're in row. So you've got your green row at the top, then you've almost got your like neutrally browny row next, and then you've got your purple row, and then you've got your reddy, orangey, pinky row. Actually, is anything red? Because even though cranberries, that's a multi-chrome and it's more orange in the pan. I don't know what I'd describe that final row as, but it's not red. It's more pink leaning. I haven't swatched it because mainly because I just wanted you to see it. I think that's probably the least washed out that I can get it to be. But it's an absolutely stunning palette. I would say it's a bit like, I feel like I'm doing this comparison a lot, like having a big sister palette and a little sister palette when I'm comparing, but it's like the older sister to Delicious Delights. Like Delicious Delights is your pastel, rainbowy. I'm going to get Delicious Delights, I'm going to put them side by side. So I've actually rearranged. So I had a bookshelf, I don't know if that's ever been in shot, but there's a bookshelf over in that direction, and I've taken all the books of it and I've put all my eyeshadow palettes on there instead because it's just much easier, to be perfectly honest. Can you see what I mean there? So that's like your really bright pastels, and this is like your more, it's got more depth to it, and it's more vibrant's not the word, but I think they'd actually pair quite nicely, actually. I'm trying to think, are there any Ooh, 'Tis the Season seems to be a bit of a muted version of Charms, and Jelly Bean is a more vibrant version of Mulled Wine. Oh, in front you've got gingerbread in here and you've got cookies in here. Maybe I'll do some comparison. Not in this video. Maybe I'll save that for like a short or a different video entirely. Or you can let me know if you'd like to see some comparison swatches. You might not be remotely interested. Going back to 'Tis the Season, this festive quality street palette. What do I want to do? I think one look on each eye, standard at this point. And I think I do want to concentrate on this brown row to see what kind of neutrally look I can pull out. And then I think I will, because that bottom row, because I think I go to purple and green a lot, so I think it's going to be that bottom row on the other eye. And I know I've done red very recently, but this is a bit more purple pinky leaning without being fully purple like that third row is. So yeah, concentrating on this row on one eye and that row on the other. I feel like my camera, because I went away and I took my camera with me with the intention of filming while I was away. I needn't have bothered, it was a complete waste of space there. But now that I'm back, I feel like I've put my camera, it looks like it's in the exact same place it was in before, but it's ever so slightly off. But this might be better, so I'm going to have to remember this. So I'm going to start, I'm going to go dark to light. So I'm going to start with hot chocolate. And hot chocolate is that deep brown there. And I might start with a Refa 13 and almost try to do the outline. I'm going to use this mirror because it's much easier to do that. I went away and I just went to stay with my brother who lives in Amsterdam. And our niece, who's currently studying, she's kind of doing like a semester abroad. So she's in Portugal, but she normally lives in the States. So she was also visiting, and I haven't seen her for a very, very long time. Neither has my brother, actually. So it was really nice to catch up with her. It's a very nice deep chocolatey brown there. Hence the appropriately named hot chocolate. I did actually film a video while I was away, but there was just too much going on. I'll see if I can use the footage. I'll re-watch what I filmed. It was actually a Nomad review, which I'd hoped to get up while the sales were going on, but I know that they've got more sales coming, so that footage could still be usable. It's almost, and I can sort of see it in the pan, it's got like a burgundy hue to it, like ever so slightly burgundy hue to it. I don't know if it's just because it's the end of the year, or, well, I am anemic. I know I'm anemic, so I found that out earlier on this year. I've been taking like an iron liquid to try to boost my iron levels, and it has improved slightly, but they're still low. They're still lower than they should be. So I don't know if it's a combination of the fact that I'm anemic and the fact that it's December, but I am tired. I'm so tired. Is anybody else tired? Like, every time I think work is going to slow down, it doesn't. It just seems to. I had a few days of annual leave and we got like this last minute request to do a presentation yesterday, like as part of our virtual Christmas do, which was, so that was all very last minute, and half the team are away because they were doing a conference in India, and the other half of the team is on annual leave, and it's like, when do you want us to pull this all together, and you want us to collaborate with other teams to do this? Okay, now I want to do cookies, I think, which is kind of like this orangey leaning brown. Yeah, it's not focusing for anything, but yeah, that was, I think it just focused just as I pulled away, typical. But yeah, I'm going to use Cookies, and I'm going to use that with a Refa 14 just to blend around the edges of hot chocolate, because who doesn't love cookies and hot chocolate? That's nice actually. It looks nice in the monitor. Do I want to put in any ginger? I don't think so. I mean, I could put ginger as an inner corner highlight. Who am I? But I don't think I want to do that. I think if anything, I want to put Celebrate as an inner corner highlight, because Celebrate looks stunning. Which would mean that the main lid shimmer would be Candlelight. Okay, so that there. Oh, it's focused. Look at that. Yay. So that's Candlelight, which I'm thinking I will put as my main shimmer. And that's... what's it called? Oh yeah, Celebrate, which I'm considering as the inner corner highlight. That looks very pretty. I like the look of that. Yeah. I'm going to use this silicone applicator. I've been quite liking using a silicone applicator just because I feel it gives you a bit more precision. I'm just learning not to be too heavy-handed with it, because I have had some gouging incidents. And I'm just leaving a tiny bit of space to be able to put Celebrate on the inside. Alright, now that's Celebrate shade on my Zoeva 237 detail shader. That doesn't seem to have picked up at all. Now it's picked up, but it's quite subtle. It's not as blingy as I thought it might be. To be fair, it is quite subtle. That's not really my inner corner bling that I normally do. Okay, now that has laid down, but yeah, it's not as blingy as I'd anticipated. I'm going to leave the underside for now and go on to the other eye. I'll do the underneath of both eyes once I've done my concealer. The urge to use cranberries is great. It is. Now, would it be a bit much if I put in cranberries on there somehow? Should I just dab a bit on the corner? I'm curious. I really want to try it. Cranberries. It's got this. How would I describe this shift? It's like burnt orange, gold, green. That's how I'd describe the shift. That's not bad. It's perhaps, I mean, it's not my most polished, but I don't mind that effect. I hope you can see that. It's almost just kind of added like a orangey glow, so it's got like a nice fade on there now. I did wonder if it would completely mess up the look, but I think that's alright. Yeah, because I just didn't think that would necessarily... I mean, it would go with those other shades, but I think I'm going to go quite simple on the other eye. I'm going to follow quite similar pattern, so I'll start with mulled wine here, and then I'll blend that out with Stocking, And I think I'll use Tinsel as my lid shimmer. Right, Mulled Wine. Now this is a stunning, how would I describe that shade? Like, you've got 'Tis the Season, which is like your true purple. I don't think there's such a colour as royal purple, but you know, you have a royal blue. Think of royal blue, but a purple version. That's what 'Tis the Season reminds me of. And then Mulled Wine is like a more of a burgundy purple. I think Mulled Wine is a good name for the shade, actually. Yeah, that's nice. It's a nice shade. So I do think for the rest of December, I'll mostly probably concentrate on festive looks because, you know, 'tis the season. I do have like a few new palettes coming, so I'll definitely, depending on when they land, I'll review those. So Sinister's coming. I think Sinister might arrive tomorrow, actually. That's really nice. I'd be curious to see what it would be like if I did what I'm doing now with 'Tis the Season and blended out 'Tis the Season with Mulled Wine. I think that would be nice as well. And I might actually use the 13 with Stocking. So I've wiped up off the pigment there on my Sigma switch, using that Refa 13 again. This to me is it's the Cosmic Brushes formula that I've come to rather enjoy. I'm not having any issues here with skipping or blending or anything like that. Now for that shade Tinsel. And this is, I mean, it's like a pinky goldy shimmer with, would I say that's got a hint of peach in there? Peach undertones? It's very pretty. It's a very pretty shimmer. What finger do I want to use? Let's use my ring finger on this eye. Well, I was about to say that feels dry. I wouldn't say, it's not dry as such. But it's not, oh, is that a, that's another shifty shade. Yeah, I like that. This is a nice shimmer. Oh, that is beautiful. So it's not a super creamy shimmer, but not like some shimmers can be. Ever so slightly drier consistency, but not in a bad way at all. As in, like, zero fallout, like nothing's dropped off on my cheek or anything like that. Oh, that Tinsel shade. Oh, that is nice. I think for like a future look, I'd be curious to know how Baubles and Tinsel pair. Baubles looks like it might be quite chunky. I'll report back when I do the swatches. Just, yeah, it just looks ever so slightly chunky. For my inner corner on this side, I'm going to go into my Tiger Hourglass palette because I just love using this as an inner corner highlight. I think it just works so well for everything. Yeah. Yeah, see, that's perfect. Perfect. Yeah, just love this palette for the, well, I don't just love this palette for that. I rather enjoy the other highlighters and blushes in here too, but this as an inner corner highlight for most looks. I'm just going to do my under eye on camera only because I think I do want to use 'Tis the Season on the purpley side. I know I'm deviating, but I really like the look of that purple shade, and I think it would go really nicely as like an under eye colour on the purple side. So that's what I'm going to do. And I might be really naughty and put green on this side. 'Tis the Season on my Zoeva 230. Just gives an ever so slightly subtle contrast there. And then that Refa 13 again. I didn't pick up any additional pigment or anything. I just wanted to use it to smudge out that purple ever so slightly. And no, don't add green. You always do that. Or do I add green? The greens just look so pretty, especially garland and festive. Look at them. Look at garland and festive. Look how pretty they are. Yep, I'm doing it. I'm so naughty. Cleaning off 'Tis the Season from my 230. Let me try, actually, so my Refa number 3, which is like a pencil brush. I want to pick up Festive, which is the green shimmer. And let's just see. Honestly, what is it with me and a green under eye? I don't know, I just think it makes a goldy browny look pop. I'm just going underneath that a little bit with garland, but I didn't want to put garland down first in case that meant Festive wouldn't stick. See, just look at that. It just pops. It just pops. Okay, now I really am going to finish off my face and do the swatches, and then I'll come back. In fact, you know what? I'm going to do them live, because I've said this before that I need to start doing these live so you can see them. Yeah, let's see if I can keep my arm there. Decorations. Then we've got Mistletoe. This is Garland. Festive. The shimmery green I've just used. That's nice. Holly. That feels a bit dry. I wonder if that would be a bit patchy. Yeah. Let me use a different finger to do Holly. But yeah, that's definitely dry. I might try to use the Holly in a look to see how that performs on the eye, because it's definitely on the dry side. So that's the top row of the greens. Row 2, Hot Chocolate, which is very close to my skin tone. But yeah, it is there. It is definitely there. Candlelight. Yeah, that's nice. Cookies. That's a little bit dry, but I know that Cookies performed well because I've used Cookies. So I wonder if Cookies and Holly might be the same, a bit dry, but they still work well on the eyes. Ginger and Celebrate. This is quite similar to the Undergrowth formula, so some of the mattes in there are quite dry, but that didn't affect performance. I didn't end up with any skipping or any performance issues with Undergrowth, but I am noticing that some of the mattes seem to be a bit on the drier side here, but I had no issues with any of the mattes that I've used on my eyes today. fairy lights, which I'm very excited to use in a future look. That's nice. I'm looking forward to trying that. Excuse my dry elbow, by the way. I wasn't expecting it to potentially be on camera, but here we are. So that's 'Tis the Season. You see what I mean? That is not a reflection of how it performed on my eye. Definitely not. I mean, I only used a little bit, but still. Party. It looks almost white on me. But yeah, no, that's purple. I think Party and 'Tis the Season would pair very well together. Now we've got baubles, and I'm curious about baubles because it looks like it might be a bit of a chunkster. I think it has got a bit of chunk to it. It's not one of the drier shimmers. What was the shimmer I said in here that was a bit on the dry side? Tinsel. Tinsel felt like a bit of a drier shimmer. Baubles is not. So let's see what baubles looks like. Yeah, baubles is nice. Gifting. Gifting's a nice purple. And yeah, baubles is chunky. Apply baubles with caution. It's a bit chunkier, but yeah, very pretty shade. Last row, mulled wine. Yeah, really love that shade. Tinsel, which I think might be my favourite shade. It might be, but let's see when I swatch cranberries. But I love tinsel. Ribbon. Again, that looks almost white on me, but that's probably to do with the lighting as well. Stocking, and then cranberries. Yeah, cranberries is pretty. But yeah, I think it's tinsel for me. That tinsel shade. Actually, tinsel and cranberries, they might pair quite nicely. But yeah, those are all 20 swatches. So yeah, I think it's definitely, I know it's not necessarily the festive colour story that people were anticipating, but I love it. I do. I think I really like that colour story. So those are the swatches, and I think I've said this about 3 times now, but I am going to go and finish my face, and then I'll come back with some thoughts. Eyes complete, and I've just zoomed you right in so you can see. Also shows the bags under my eyes there, but we'll just ignore those. So this is look number 1, and that's focusing mostly on that brown row with a bit of green because I couldn't help myself. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And on this side we focused on the bottom row, but I've thrown in a little bit of 'Tis the Season, which is a purple in the row above. So there we go. I'd say that those were 2 pretty festive looks there. Do you have a favourite side? If so, do let me know down in the comments which side you prefer. The blush is looking a bit clowny. It was looking extra clowny before, but then so this is the brush I used for my foundation, so I've gone over that in an attempt to tone it down, but that's still pretty in your face. I feel like it goes with this side. I don't know how well that blush goes with this side. I think it works. But the blush in question, and I do this every single time, I've used Red the Room from the Deeper Than Deep curve case, and that's this one. And I always forget, you just need a little bit goes a very, very long way. And then I go in on this side and I'm like, oh, and then I panic and I blend, and as I say, in the end, had to resort to the foundation brush just to dab. And on the lips, I felt I had to go in with a red again because one of the colours that's available in the 'Tis the Season collection is a red lippy, and I didn't pick it up because I've got Rouge on Snow and I've got Ruby Woo. I don't need another red lipstick. So I've lined my lips with the NYX Suede Matte Lip Pencil in Cherry Skies, and I've gone in with Rouge on Snow. Sorry guys, you can't get that one anymore, but I just thought it would go nicely with both looks. It's a really nice combo actually, Cherry Skies and Rouge on Snow. Rimmel Thrill Seeker mascara as per usual, along with my Clinique eyeliner. Yeah, that's what's on my face. The palette, Cosmic brushes, 'Tis the Season. I love the colour story. I do. I just this is the kind of festive palette I can get behind. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea because it's effectively in the realm of a rainbow palette, and I know we have a lot of these, but it's got a green row. I love my greens. It's got a purple row. I love my purple. A blue row is going to be pushing it. You've got Winter Wonderland. Why would you create another festive palette that's got blues in it when you've got Winter Wonderland? But then it's got that brown row, so if you're wanting a more neutral look, you can fully do a more neutral look. I think it's very versatile. I think there's a lot you can do with this palette, and I'm in love with tinsel. Tinsel is just, I can't express in words how happy the shade Tinsel makes me. It's the Cosmic brushes formula that we've come to know and love. I would put this more with the formula of Undergrowth, as I mentioned. I remember distinctly Coulterals and Neutrals, for example, not being quite as dry, but now I'm wondering in the back of my mind if I imagine that, so at some point I'm thinking I'm going to have a bit of a swatch party with my Cosmic brushes palettes just to see. I definitely feel that the mattes in here are a little bit drier, Holly especially. I'm trying to see what else I thought was quite dry. So Holly, that deep green, and Cookies, that was quite dry. I think even 'Tis the Season, but I haven't used Holly, but I have used Cookies and 'Tis the Season. I had no issues with those at all. And as I say, if it's anything like the matte formula in Undergrowth, I don't think I'll experience any issues at all. Would I recommend 'Tis the Season? If it's your colour story, 100%. Could I have duped this? I think there were possibly certain rows I could have duped. Like, I feel like I could dupe that green row. I think I really could. Mainly because I'm a green fiend and I have a lot of palettes with green. And I think even Cosmic, I don't know if Faye's favourite colour is green, because green seems to feature quite heavily in the Cosmic palettes. So I do feel like I could potentially dupe that green row. That bottom row though, that's got mulled wine, tinsel, ribbon, stocking and cranberries, that's a pretty unique row for tinsel and cranberries alone. And remember I said at the beginning that I was feeling meh? I'm glad I did film, because yes, it has made me happy. That's sometimes what makeup does for me. I looked old and haggard before, and now I've got colourful, sparkly eyelids and red lips. I mean, what's not to be happy about? And also quite flushed cheeks because of the Made by Mitchell curve case there. I mean, it's Cosmic brushes. You can't go wrong. I think they've nailed the formula at this point. So unless there's a major cock up at the factory, or I don't know, the ingredients list and the ratios gets lost or something, I think the quality is always probably going to be there with Cosmic. If I'm picking up a Cosmic palette in the future, it's going to be to comment on the formula in that and to tell you if I think it's still up to scratch. And is the formula still up to scratch in this? Yes. Yes, it is. And to me, it's just a very aesthetically pleasing palette. I know some people, when they saw the outer packaging, were hoping that it would kind of lean into the more sort of burgundy tones. And I mean, they are in there, kind of, like you've got the mulled wine shade. I just like the colour story. I'm a colourful gal, and I like the colourful story. I just do. But yeah, for me, that's probably another banger. I prefer this to Undergrowth, only because I think Undergrowth is, as I say, I'm a green fiend. Or do I prefer it? But then there's some standout shades in. Maybe let's reserve that for a palette ranking. I think I've got enough Cosmic brushes palette. I say I've got enough. I've got all of them now, apart from Royal Rose, which is going to forever haunt me now. So maybe that could be a fun thing to do. Tie myself in knots trying to decide which Cosmic Beauty palette I like best. Would you like to see me tie myself in knots trying to decide which Cosmic Beauty palette I like best? Let me know. I like that. It's a colour story that speaks to me. I appreciate it's not a colour story that's going to speak to everyone. I think it's super festive. I know it's not the festive vibe that a lot of people were hoping for, but it certainly is for me. Formula is top notch, and it's cheered me up. It's cheered me up, and what more could I ask for? Those are my first impressions. I'll try to use that more over the festive season to formulate more opinions. But I mean, at this point, I've tried that many Cosmic palettes that, would I still class them as first impressions? I mean, they are first impressions, I guess. I'm repeating myself now because it's late and I'm tired. But yeah, as long as the formula stays the same, it's going to be whether or not the colour story appeals to you. I think that's what it's got to boil down to now with future releases. So it's whether or not Cosmic can release things that are unique in some way. That's going to be Cosmic Brush's challenge going forward, definitely. I hope you found that useful. As always, thank you for taking the time to watch, and I hope to see you again in a video in a not too distant future. Take care. Bye.